Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Redbird, and I believe this is pronounced Saraceno. I could be wrong, but anyway, Redbird writes in and says the delay time isn't long enough for my liking on the SP404 Mark II. Is there a way to set it longer than 1 second? I'm going to say sort of, and let's kind of go through what we have. So if we hit delay, we can see we have a time from 1/32 up to 1/1. This is just the default sync delay. It is tied to your BPM. So if you're able to go all the way down to 40 BPM or up to 200 BPM, that's going to control how long the buffer is. You can do a little bit of a math trick where if, let's say, you're working at 80 or 90 BPM, you can divide that in half and you will be able to go down to, as I said, down to like 40 BPM. So if you set your SP404 Mark II with Shift and Pad 11 to go to tap tempo, you could go in here and adjust either your project or bank BPM and use that to set it to a value half of whatever you're playing at down to as low as 40 BPM. And if you go down to 40, you're going to get the longest delay time you can, and you're effectively doubling it or having a 2-bar delay. So I don't know if that helps you or not, but if you're willing to do a little bit of math, you can totally do that. You might think that there's a couple other things you could do here, and you might sort of be right. But for folks that are out there, let's turn this off. We're on bus 1. So there are a few other delays in here. They all have kind of some other problems for the most part. But if we go to tape echo, we can see this only goes down to 10 milliseconds or up to 800 milliseconds. That's less than the 1 second, so not really going to help you. Again, time control delay is going to be the same. It's 10 milliseconds up to 800, not quite what you're looking for. If we go out to the last page, we can see SX delay. This says 1/1, and it has the same properties as a sync delay that will allow you to go through and do the BPM math to get it to whatever the delay is that you'd like, so you can get that length. May help. You could also use bus 1 and bus 2. You could put 2 different delays, which will potentially, I'm not going to get into the effect settings and things. It will sort of give you a longer delay, but it really starts getting weird because they start stacking on each other in kind of interesting ways. Might be a sound you're looking for, might sound cool, but I mean, they have to be different delays, and ultimately they're not really going to double your buffer length. They end up kind of stacking up and feeding it into each other in a kind of weird way. So you're going to need to play around with like mix levels and feedback settings, but it might get a sound that's interesting, might be fun and worth doing to go play with. All of that said, the thing that I would probably advise doing if you're willing to give up your looper and skip back buffer is actually use looper. And if we go into Mark, we can see here that we have, if we go to free, like you can hit record and just plug in whatever you want. You can go by default up to 16 seconds. I've published a trick a few times that allows you to go up to like either 19.6 or 19.8 seconds to get outside of the 16 seconds, but you're basically giving up your looper to function as a delay, where you're going to adjust your feedback setting to whatever you want it to be. And again, like it's going to depend on what kind of delay type or effect or what mix you want and other things. So I would say try that because you can dial in your BPM very specifically. It may help you, and you can even set like how many measures you want, and you can more or less treat this as a delay and get a much longer period of time to work with. I don't know what you're trying to do exactly, so it's hard to give you specific details on how to do it, but I hope that gives you at least an overview of the delay times, how you might be able to play with it and get a little bit more time out of it, and maybe consider using the looper and see if that can do what you like as well. Anyway, Redbird, thanks for the question. Everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good, and peace.